Hello, trumpet friends. Today we are going to talk about lip bends. We got an email earlier this week from somebody who had just bought our physical trumpet pyramid book, and he wanted to know more about lip bends. I told him I would make a video and post it and send him the link because I think maybe you would like to know too. So, what are lip bends? Let's talk about what they are first, and we'll talk about why we do them and stuff like that. So a lip bend is basically playing the trumpet out of tune. So we normally start with maybe a G, lip it down to an F sharp, and then back up again. So sometimes you want to play the F sharp first with the fingering, get it in your ear, and then go back and bend it. Now bend it. Now you can do that with any note. It gets more difficult as you go higher. And so playing low F sharp, for example, so what's the difference between a lip bend and a pedal tone? Very little when you're on the lowest notes, right? As you go, so that was very, very easy, and maybe you might want to start with those first, but we also have the high ones. See what I'm doing? I'm taking it down a half step and then taking it back up to the note with just my lips. And you can do it on other fingerings just to demonstrate. Now it's very important when you do this to do it with the lips. The air stays the same. It is possible to cheat and do the lip bend by sacrificing your air, sort of playing flat with the air. We don't want that. We want the air to keep the same, bend that note down. In fact, no, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say maybe you do more air, but then I decided no. It'll seem like it's more air because there's more resistance, and when you push on that resistance, it's going to feel like you're pushing more air. So let's talk a little bit about why we do the lip bends. I have 3 reasons that I like to talk about. The first one and most important reason is because it helps you with your sound. Now, how does it do that? It helps you with your sound by helping you find the most resonant pitch for that note. And I have a plan to do a video on resonance. So this video is sort of out of order, but I do like to answer people's questions this way, so it doesn't really matter if it's out of order anyway. So what is resonance? Resonance is when the vibrations you play through the instrument match with the trumpet. When there's a match, when the frequency of your buzzing matches the volume of the instrument in a very specific way, the instrument will start vibrating sympathetically. That's the term that they use, sympathetically. Basically, what that means is that the vibration of the air inside the horn will now vibrate the whole instrument. And usually when that happens, it also vibrates the whole room in a similar fashion and with that sympathetic vibration. Okay? And that's really when you get the most beautiful tone, it's gonna be because of this kind of sympathetic resonance, sympathetic vibration, and the resonance. Okay, Now, there are some exceptions that I won't go into today. So if you're saying, well, Mr. Lewis, that's not exactly right. Well, yes, I know that, but we're talking of basics here. All right. So, yes, the main objective, the reason why we do these bends is to help us find on our instrument the most resonant pitch for each of those notes that we're bending. That it does wonders for our sound, and once we find that, it does wonders for our range, it does wonders for our endurance. Basically, when you do this, the instrument kind of sort of just plays itself. And we'll talk more about that in the video about resonance. Okay, so the second reason I like to teach the lip bends is because it teaches you aperture control. There are times when we need to manipulate the notes with our lips. The slide thing isn't working out for that certain, exact situation, and we find ourselves having to lip. If we learn aperture control through doing regular lip bends, we find it's a lot easier to get a good sound on a note that wouldn't normally sound good because it's not in tune with the. When I say in tune, I'm talking about in tune with the instrument. In order to make something in tune with the band, we often have to make it out of tune with the instrument. If you practice lip bends on a regular basis, this is going to help you get a better sound on the stuff that's not in tune with the instrument. Another benefit from learning to manipulate your embouchure through the lip bends is that when you're tired, when you are in a performance and you reach a point of fatigue, you can do something about it. You don't have to sound tired. You can manipulate the aperture. By the way, the aperture is the hole between the lips. All right, some other people think that it's something else. In my videos, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the hole between the lips. When you vibrate, it looks sort of like this, okay, while it's flapping, okay? And when you learn how to manipulate your aperture, you've got freedom to play in fatigued context, in fatigued situations, and still sound good. Maybe not the best that you've ever sounded, but you still have that control to find, instead of being all pinched in your sound, you can open it up because you've been doing it. All right, now, the third reason why we do this is for combating swelling. And that's really kind of what I was just talking about, but I'm talking about now in a very specific context. When we do our warm-up, we do lip buzz. And a lot of people will complain the reason they don't do lip buzz is because the lip buzz makes them stiff. Well, if you follow that lip buzz later with long tones that have lip bends in them, that stiffness becomes irrelevant. If you have the skill to manipulate your aperture, it doesn't matter how stiff you are. And so this is one of two things I do to counteract stiffness when you're playing. I think I said earlier, swelling, sort of the same thing. All right? So this is something that you want to keep in mind for doing lip bends. Now I'm going to do one more time so that you can hear what it sounds like. And you know what I like to do? If you practice the Chickowitz studies, I like to do that instead of the fingering. That way I'm getting chickwits and stamp in the same exercise, sort of. All right, you're getting the benefits of the chickwits and the benefits of the lip bends. So that's something you might want to try as your first attempt for doing the lip bends. Anyway, if you have any questions about the lip bends, feel free to ask in the comments below. I think I've made it pretty clear. Oh, do you know what? I just remembered one other thing. Because I just mentioned lip bends in another video that's probably going to be posted around the same time as this video. And if you do lip bends on a regular basis, doing bends in a jazz context is actually no big deal, right? It's part of what you do every day anyway. So that's kind of cool, right? Anyway, once again, if you have questions, feel free to ask below. If you want more of these kinds of videos, click on subscribe and the little bell icon, and you'll be notified whenever I put up more of these videos. And what else? Oh yeah, God bless you. And I'll see you on the next video. All right.